It's 3:30 on the last Friday of the month here at Classic Bahnstormers. It's time for a brew and a tour around the workshop. So, been a bit slow with the social media this year, so something I'm going to try and do every Friday or the last Friday of every month is a little tour around the workshop. So here we go. At the moment, we're in the Fab workshop, or Fabrication workshop, so I'll just take you around some of the cars we're doing. There's some of the regular followers might remember, it's an E32 740 short wheelbase car, or standard wheelbase car, and we have been doing a fair bit of welding bodywork to this. It wasn't horribly rusty, but it was quite damaged. It had a lot of sort of dents in it that had gone rusty over time. We've been right through it. As you can see, all stripped down. Had all the subframes off, and it was on the ramp. All the welding and fab work is done, and it is waiting to be put back together, and then it will be ready to go off to paint with a bit more prep work. Over here, we've got a 635 CSI. This car's been with us for some time. It came in with head gasket failure, and we did diagnose that it had fairly horrendous head gasket failure. This has turned into a complete engine rebuild, and when we go down to the technician's workshop, I can show you a very pretty, shiny rebuilt engine. Like most 6 Series cars, this one's had, well, like all these cars, they've had a life. By this point, this one's in need of some welding, fairly standard stuff, sill relief strips. The inner triangles have been done before, not fantastically well, and some of it is all filler and no killer. So there are holes up around the axle carrier mounts, MOTable. So this one's just about to have its rear axle taken out, dropped out, so we can deal with things like this hole, this patch, which isn't really attached, and these front floor corners. Over here we've got an E30 Touring. We've been working on this project on and off for a good few years. It was an Uber Red 325i Auto, came into us for an appraisal in, I'm going to say 2022, but don't shoot me if I'm wrong. It's had a lot of welding and fab. This was a really rotten car. It's very much a passion project. The gentleman's owned it for a very long time, extremely attached to it, and wants to make it as good as it can possibly be. So it's had an awful lot of welding and fab work. It came back then to have the engine removed and the welding and fab work done in the engine bay. It went off to have a full repaint in its original gorgeous Sonova Red. I don't really want to unwrap it because generally we wouldn't have a freshly painted shell in the fabrication shop, but due to the limitations on budget, it's been done in phases. So it's come back to be put back together. One of the things we had to do before we could put it back together was seal it. So I don't know, Graham, where's the best place for us to have a look at your amazing sealing work. So all the wheel tubs have been sealed in the, well, it's not the factory product, but a more modern version of the factory product. It gives a very similar finish. All the wheel tubs have been painted, and then the underside of the car has been done in the factory beige finish, which hopefully you can kind of see here. Or if you look from this angle, you can see it runs under the hull of the car. So that is looking absolutely stonking now. It looks awesome, but the real reason to do it is obviously to protect the vehicle. So yeah, so this is going to be pretty mega. Looking forward to seeing this when we go down to the technical workshop. I can show you the subframes, which have been blasted and epoxy masticed. Here we've got, this is E28 car 104. Which has been quite a weldathon. So this is a special project for us. It is It was sold new out of Swindon Dick Lovett. I have some ex-Swindon Dick Lovett technicians working here, and 2 of them have actually worked on it back in the day, and their names are in the service books. That's really cool. It's very appropriate, therefore, that it's come to us to be restored, and we're very pleased to have the project. So this side has all been done. Lovely by Graham. Nice seals, lovely rust-free front floor corners, wheel tub, reinforcement panel, wheel arches, loads of work on the rear panel. And then this side, can I spin this? Or is it locked? Okay, get my man on. You can see this side is the yet to be done side. So this is pretty much what the rest of it was like. Until Graham got his hands on it. So you can see this side where the seal's been cut off, ready for a new section to be let in, and you can see all the inners already been repaired. Jack and points, this rear wheel arch section here, this panel, rear valance, basically where all the grey is. The reason the other side isn't grey is because it went back to be dipped and coated in weld-through primer. Come this way. In here, we've got a Zano Red Motorsport Highline, which is having standard E24 type repairs done. So this portion of the rear quarter, got there in the end, had been done once before, and it was mostly made of filler and cheese and bubblegum and hopes and dreams and things like that. The inners were rotten, very similar to the grey car I've just shown you over there. This lower section was rotten. The wheel arch was rotten. This section was rotten. So Scott's been busy chopping bits out of it, making panels such as this one, rebuilding the arch, rebuilt the end of the sill, rebuilt the inner triangle, rebuilt this pattern, rebuilt some of the inner structure. You come around this side, as well as the light apertures. Here, he's got number plate lights to do. This corner, you can see a little better the inner structure if Graham can poke the iPhone in there. You can see a little better in there, the structure, and where it comes down at the bottom here, where this curve is an absolute nightmare to make, or so the guys tell me. So same, we've got this closing panel to do, this section of the inner rear arch that he's repaired, and you can see where there's some of the rough stuff left and the chunks he's cut out. So there you go. So that is a quick tour of the fab building and the projects we've got on here. Join me if you will, down with the techs. So here we are down in the techs workshop. We'll just have a quick wander around and see what they're up to. On the ramp here, we've got a malachite green E34 M20 B25. Nice colour combination, this malachite green, which is obviously a colour for the early cars. This one's got the tan cloth interior in it. We put it in for appraisal. As you can see, they're quite detailed, and I think this one is up to page 4. We're up to page 4, but every line is a thing. So every light bulb that doesn't work is a line. It's really, really detailed report. We do these as a one price. It's one price for the service, no matter how long it takes. So it's a really good service, gives you an eyes wide open view of the car. And we have done a lot of these in the last couple of weeks as we're coming up to the spring and everybody wants to get their cars back on the road. Next, we have an old friend. So this is a 518. We've done absolutely loads of work on this car over the last 4 or 5 years. Bodywork, paint, engine rebuild, mechanical, you name it. And it's become a regular visitor to the workshop. So that's really nice. It comes here for pretty much what is mostly servicing now and just staying on top of the car. As you'll see, we've done suspension. This time round, quite a short list. We came in for an inspection one service, I'm gonna say maybe a few weeks before Christmas. We noted a few things and it's just back to do those. So one of them was leaks from the differential. So it's had some seals. We've done both the output shaft seals and the pinion seal, and in the process of doing so, we noticed a couple of the drive shaft boots were split, so we've ended up basically overhauling the joints at either end. We've done both sides, so it's looking good. The other thing we did was the client was reporting a vibration noise, an annoying squeaky noise, which we tracked down to this bracket. So this stainless steel bracket here, it's got an aftermarket stainless steel exhaust on it, and the bracket is cracked and it's that vibrating. So that's to be fixed, and we have put a genuine center track control tie rod arm in. There was a lot of play, a lot of slot. This car's done over 300,000 miles. So in all fairness, a little bit of slot, hardly surprising. But yeah, so it's nice to have regular visitors. Come next door. Oh, first of all, let's go and look. Earlier on, I mentioned the engine for the grey Highline, which is over here. There is something quite pleasing about freshly vapor blasted aluminium. This is a B35 World engine, it's out of the Highline. It has had an entire rebuild. This car had absolutely catastrophic head gasket failure. Number 6 piston, the number 6 cylinder was unsavable, so we actually had to have it machined, and it's had 6 brand new custom made pistons put in it. Rings, bearings, valve train, camshaft, you name it, it has had a total rebuild. New starter motor, and yeah, it's going to be absolutely sweet when it goes back in. Well worth doing. All new hoses, thermostat housing, sensors. Yeah, it just looks so good, don't they? Vapor blasted aluminium, can't beat it. That and cabin plating. Whoa. So yeah, you come through. Come with me to the other side. Got some more old friends. So E12 and 535i, doing quite a bit of work on this. You can see from that side, we've put some new or reconditioned brake servos in it. It had an issue where it just kept destroying the brake fluid, and it was traced back to one of the servos. Also came in with a complaint from the owner that the engine was overfueling. Now, we rebuilt this engine about maybe a year, 2 years ago, I'm not quite sure now, and we discovered that the airflow meter was out spec and we couldn't adjust it any further. So we sent the airflow meter off and had it rebuilt. It's now back in spec and it's just being ready. It's just ready to be set up. We've also overhauled the discs and the brakes on this car, calipers, disc pads, handbrake cables, shoes, etc., etc. So we've done a complete overhaul of the brakes this time. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to running this one up the road and taking stock of the improvements we've made. Another regular classic Bahnstormers visitor. I recently posted a picture of this car on its side in a ditch. It has done, at which time it had done 333,000 miles, which is saying something. It's got an M40 engine in it. And it's here for inspection one service and a timing belt, which we completed. Found a couple of other things along the way, including its distributor cap, which, would you believe, was the original distributor cap, date coded 1992. So 300, that is testimony to what good servicing will achieve. 333,000 miles on a single distributor cap. Incredible. Up here, we've got an E24 M635 CSI. which, as you can see, is in for a timing chain, among other things. So there you go. There's a brief tour of the classic Barnstormers workshop. Enjoy your brew.